Well, it's been a year now since I've seen the sun. The walls have long since closed on in. Write these words down on a page. Tear it up, start again. The coffee's cold, the sink is full. Listening to the birds and the passing cars outside. Maybe if I write today, will remind me that I'm still alive. And the days unwind like a broken clock. The screen keeps calling, man, it never stops. I'm reaching out, 'cause I know you're there. Out in this darkness, alone somewhere. Give me the worn out corner stool, drinking cheap beer down at Sully's bar. Give me the sea with the obstructive view down first baseline of Fenway Park. The air that dances round our breath, late night when we're talking close. Hug my mom again, shake my neighbor's hand. It's the simplest things I miss the most, but I still have some in the open sky. Still have the winding endless road to ride. Still have this place inside my heart. Come find you there when we're apart. I'm the scar that don't look pretty, even though it's long since mended. On the concert in the pouring rain, you stayed at till the whole thing ended. I'm the gambler who has been down and out, letting it all ride on one last bet. I'm the boxer who's lost the last 9 rounds, but you know I'm not done fighting yet. My voice calls out, hard like gravel, but it's alright. I still have these 2 strong arms to hold on tight. I could find my way if I could find each note, put them down on a page. This song I wrote, how are we doing tonight, gatherers? Whoo! All right. Let me just see where we're at here. Do you see our new Dan logo? Isn't it fancy? I want to put it right here. That's nice, right? I was trying to figure out the best place to put it. That kind of looks nice. Maybe it's over. Maybe over there is the spot. I'm not exactly sure. We'll figure it out. Figuring it out. Thought I would. No, it's good to see y'all. When I play with the band, I mean, I love it because I get to interact with, real human beings. I get to play with my bandies, right? But I don't get to see your nice comments and. We can try it, Robin. Will it come out over the brick? Too subtle or perfect? It's really hard to know, isn't it? These are hard things. um, well, I tried this it must have been a couple weeks ago. Um, and I kind of did it on the fly, but I asked gatherers if there were any questions that you want to ask me, but I kind of sprung it on you. I sprung it on you again today, but I did it in a slightly different way. I did posts on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and I asked if there were any of you that had questions about my songs or my songwriting. And I thought that, we have had 410 days of music at this point. There might be some questions that you need answered. And so I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going to just take some time to talk a little songwriting with you, which is one of the things I love to do. And if it just so happens that it feels like a natural point to play a song, then I will do that. How's that? And this could be something that we do fairly regularly. If you all have questions for me, maybe this conversation that we have tonight will spark more questions. That's cool too. So I'm gonna start with the oldest comments, the comments that came in first, and I'll just start reading the questions, and we'll see if I can come up with some acceptable answers. Andrea wants to know, how do you travel to backyard gatherings? How long does it take? Do you stay overnight, travel together, etc.? Andrea, that is a good question, and really the answer is that there is no real answer to that question. because COVID is so wacky, we have not really gotten on to a normal schedule. Usually, when we are on tour, we our gear, a lot of our equipment, our merch lives in a marina in East Boston, where we are friends with the owner of the marina. We play a show at his campground every summer in gratitude in Rochester, New Hampshire, so we'll usually start there, and band will drop off cars. We'll all get in the van and we'll roll out together. We have a Ford Transit high top van, our new fancy van. This year, it was actually new last year. It was delivered just in time for our tour to get canceled. But these days, at least this spring, the way it's been working so far is that we have been, we've been only playing a handful of shows a week, 2 to 4 shows a week, maybe live gatherings in people's yards. We'll show up all in the van, or sometimes if they're close to home or we're coming from different places, band members will take different cars. It all depends on the day. And we'll show up and we'll play. And if it's right down the road from us, we'll drive home. Or we'll stay in a hotel nearby or en route to the next place. Actually, this weekend it was a good question because this weekend was actually the first weekend where we were all traveling in the van together. It felt like being on tour again. I miss it. We had a fun time together. Okay, not a songwriting question, but I like the question anyways. Okay. This is from Kevin. Adam, is there a regular starting place for the song when writing it, like the chorus, the intro, or the bridge? Question mark. That is a great question, Kev. Here's for me, and actually, I think this might be believe it or not, this might be a weakness of mine, or it's not a weakness of mine. I choose to do it, but oftentimes I will start on the verses of a song. To me, oftentimes the verses of a song will tell the story of the song, right? Or it will paint a scene. It will get an emotion across, right? Where the choruses bring us around to the main point of the song, get them across, right? And oftentimes, as I'm writing my writing process, I really like to start on the story, on those moments, on painting a picture, and that usually helps inform me as to where the song is going. Although I have to say, my songwriting might suffer for it. My choruses might suffer for it, I guess I would say. There are some songwriters who can just kill a chorus, right? Like in a good way. They can just write these beautiful hooky choruses, and sometimes I wonder if I'm not restrained by the box that I've put myself in from the verse, and my goal was to hit that chorus. If my melodies for my choruses might be more powerful because of it. I don't know. But generally speaking, I usually write the song as the song unfolds. I'll go back to the beginning of the song and I'll change it sometimes, but I usually think about the song in a pretty linear fashion. Might be a limitation. Like that question. Okay, moving on. Eileen wants to know, have the Dropkick Murphys ever heard your version of Devil Went Up to Boston? I am not sure. I mean, they're all Boston guys, so my guess is, that video went pretty viral around Boston, and it's got a pretty strong Dropkick reference in it. So my guess is it crossed their paths at some point, but we certainly never. We have yet to cross paths with the Dropkick Murphys, and we certainly didn't hear anything from them about it when we released that song. Good question though. We did hear from Charlie Daniels, and more to the point, Charlie Daniels' record label, who they were not too pleased about our version of his song with lots of nasty words. All right. Stuart wants to know, between songs that just fall out of the sky and write themselves, or those songs that you agonize over for weeks, which is more satisfying? It's a good question, Stuart. I'm not sure I can answer that question. There are songs that I have worked on for years, literally years. There are songs that I usually say that I have a handful of songs that are bubbling, tucked away in various parts of my brain. So there's usually somewhere, between 3 and 15 songs in mid process. And sometimes they do come out really quick. And yeah, and sometimes those are really, really great and rewarding songs. They just feel good. It's like a, it's like a good pair of jeans that's already broken in. Doesn't need to be broken in at all. They're just comfortable as soon as you put them on. There are other songs that take some time. They really, uh, I really labor over those stories and those songs, and sometimes that is incredibly rewarding once I find it. The latest song that I've written and started sharing, one called Letter, or for those of you that have heard it, the Amen song, right? So I started writing that song 2 years ago. So in theory, I've been writing that song for 2 years, right? But really, what happened was, I had this. Can I get an amen for the sunrise? A cold beer at the end of the day. A late night hang with a friend of mine, and all the things that don't need saying. Simple song to sing along, my belongings on my back. Feeling alright when I turn out the light. Can I get an amen for that? And I was stuck after that. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where that chorus should go. And one thing I feel like I've gotten good at over time is sometimes just letting that sit, even if it's got to sit for years. It's crazy to think about that, right? But sometimes a song really needs to sit. I didn't know. Get an amen for that, and then I wanted to go all the love, didn't do I didn't really know, right? But then I think what helped me break through on that one was, when I got this, like Alex calls it the chicken riff. He says it feels like fried chicken. Oops. That right there. And once I had that little attitude added to that amen song, and went to you're the sweetest thing that I ever did see. Like the prettiest star on a movie screen, like brand new chrome in the sunshine gleaming. And what I didn't know is when I was writing the chorus of that song, it's actually in a really bizarre, it keeps changing time signatures. It really messed up my musicians at first. There are measures of 2, there are measures of 3. There is really very little rhyme and reason. We were talking about this the other day because we were talking about a song, Dying Man, that's in 5 time and then switches to 6 time, which is another really weird song. This one didn't mean, I wasn't writing it to feel weird. It just felt the way it felt. But the way that felt right to me is just happened to be weird. So so this song, right, we talked about is in 4 time, right, which is what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Get an amen for the sunrise, hold beer at the end of the day, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So try to keep count in 4 on the chorus. Ready? You're the sweetest thing that I ever did see, like the prettiest star on a movie screen, like brand new chrome in the sunshine gleaming. And you are perfect like bacon frying, with the sun coming up over my campfire. If you'd have told me so, I'd have called you a liar. Guess I should have known better. I need another amen to finish this letter. Didn't really answer your question, did I, Stuart? Sorry about that. Supergirl wants to know, I would love to learn about Shiny One. Who is she? I would love to learn about Shiny One. Who she was to you, what happened. Well, I can tell you about that. So Abby was her name. She was one of my sister's very best friends growing up through high school. Abby's older sister, Allison, not my Allison, but her older sister, Allison, was in my grade and one of my best buddies. I was 2 years apart from my sister Lisa. They were 2 years apart, and we just shared a lot of adventures growing up in the same little town. We were always over at each other's houses. Abby was a really sweet girl. She just always had a smile on her face. She always had this really bright and cheery attitude. She and my sister were like the little punk girls in the high school. My sister drove a psychedelic car, and they would do crazy things like drive into Boston and work at the soup kitchen. Pretty progressive and amazing for 16-year-old girls. They were very counterculture, but they were also, Abby especially was just so sweet. She was 20 years old when, and I think living down in Florida. She was, I guess, walking down the side of a highway, upset somehow. No one really knows the story, but she got hit by a truck and she was killed. She was 20, that means I was 22 or something like that. And I was back in my hometown, and of course hanging with Abby's family and her older sister Allison and my sister. And I wanted to write I was just figuring out how to write songs. And I'd never been in a spot like that before. It was my first time wanting to use this thing that I was trying to figure out how to use, and this thing that I'm trying to figure out how to use, and to write about something that was tragic and serious and important to me. And so I sat down and I started thinking about Abby and every time I did, it would sound happy. And I realized, you know what? This isn't a sad song. It's not a sad song at all. This has got to be a song that encapsulates Abby's spirit. And Abby was not a sad person. I mean, we're all sad people sometimes, right? And I don't know, playing this little riff made me think about my friend and my life and her life and all the people that we touch in our lives and the impact in all sorts of different ways, and all the different ways that she would be living on, and all the people that she met, her family, her sister, her mother, and me, and my sister. I'm gonna play this song for you, for those of you that haven't heard it before. Hey there, shiny one, I remember. Whoa, hold on one second here. What is going on? I hope that's a little bit better. I'm gonna start it again. Hey there, shiny one, I remember when you used to come around my door. I could see you standing there, a goofy smile across your face that's not here anymore. And you left too young, and you left too soon, and my guitar, it still remembers you, my friend. And I see your light again. Hey there, shiny one, though sometimes it ain't lost for words, you never ceased to make me smile. And I am thankful for the time you had, although it was just a little while. And you left too young, and you left too soon. My guitar, it still remembers you, my friend, yeah, yeah. And I see your light again. And I see you sometimes, and your memory, it shines. And I see you sometimes, and your memory, it shines. And I see you sometimes, and your memory, it shines. it shines. Hey, that shiny one-year glow affected everyone, and wish that you could hear me sing about you. But chances are that if there's justice in this universe, this song will shine although it's song about you. And you left too young, and you left too soon. It still remembers you, my friend, and to see your light again. I see your light. Okay. It's a long answer to a short question, wasn't it? How's that? Is that maybe a little bit better? Thank you for the claps. Okay. Should we go to the next question? What do you think? Okay. Okay, here we go. Ah, my friend Pam. Her daughter Naya wants to know if words or tune come more easily to you. Is that something all musicians have? A predilection towards one or the other, typically. How and why? Wow. Naya, that's a heavy question. All right, this is what so Pam is my friend I also grew up with in my hometown. Naya is her little girl. So I'm going to answer this for you, Naya, if you're watching. I guess what I would say is usually when I'm writing a song, I am feeling something, and I'm not always really good at in the moment knowing what I feel, knowing how to express those feelings or how to react to those feelings, and so I guess I would say that oftentimes I'll come and I'll sit down at a guitar and I'll start playing, and whatever I'm feeling will start to come out. And then sometimes it takes a while for me to find something where it's like it sounds like what I'm feeling, right? But sometimes it's a lot easier for something to sound like how I'm feeling. It's easier for me to figure that out before anything else. You know, and then sometimes, and maybe this is an answer to your question, maybe it is the sound and the melody that comes oftentimes before the lyrics. It's not all the time, and this is not always how it works with me. I write songs with all different kinds of people all the time. And I write songs that are all through different processes, even on my own, you know. But maybe I'm feeling kind of reflective, you know. Maybe I've just been thinking about a friend that I lost for a while, and maybe the thing that comes out is is like just mm, da, 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 sometimes that's how a song starts, right? Da, 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 da. And then I have to think about, well, what does that mean? That feels good. It feels right, Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Right? And maybe, maybe just to get the ball rolling, sometimes the words can actually start off as kind of nonsense words, And now la little sound, my home, and they'll walk a while with me. And right there was something that was in there. Walk a while with me. That's nice. Don't do now to some down. You could walk a while with me. Don't know. You could walk a while with me. You could walk a while now. Now we can walk a while, right? And maybe, just maybe, by the end of the night, or a few weeks down the road, or a few months down the road, or a few years down the road, Walk a While will be a song that's actually finished. That started with this little spark and this little idea, that started with this emotion that I was feeling, that came out through playing the guitar and singing a little bit. That's not always how the songs come out, but that's how a lot of them have come out. Hope that answers your question, Naya. Anne-Marie, have you ever forgotten the words? Just kidding. Wanted your attention. Thank you for being an amazing person. That's very sweet. Anne-Marie, thank you. All right. What do we got next? How about I answer a question? I'll go to Twitter. Juan, how does Karina, Alex, and or Poche influence in the songwriting process? That is an awesome question. It's an awesome question, Juan. In different ways. I think that every one of the musicians that I play with impact my writing and impact the process. So when I finish a song, when I have a song finished in this form on this instrument, right, and this instrument, I'll often bring it to the band, and and I say this all the time. I say, when I bring a song to the band, more often than not, I will know how a song needs to feel, but I won't know how a song needs to sound. That is a challenge that I don't know, and I sit down with my three incredible musicians, and I just start playing the song, and I, more often than not, without giving them direction, will let them just start to creatively come up with their parts. Sometimes those parts will really surprise me. Sometimes it'll be right down the middle, exactly how I expected. And then there's a process of me listening and reacting the different sounds that they're making. Oftentimes we're doing this all together, so all of them, Poche on bass, Alex on drums, Karina on fiddle, sometimes on accordion, they're all creating and improvising while I'm playing a song, right, that they've only heard once or twice, right? And but they're not only improvising and writing their parts for the song, but they're also hearing what each other are doing in real time, and that's changing their writing process, right? And sometimes what they're doing will shift the way that I'm playing the song that I brought to them in the first place. And you know, it doesn't always happen that all of us are on the same page, and in those times it is challenging. It's particularly challenging to be a musician in my band because and this is something it took me a really long time to get to as the songwriter and the band leader. When a song is not feeling the way that I want it to feel, it took me a really long time to have the confidence to just say, I like that idea. It's not the right direction for me. For a while and this is not with this group that I'm currently working with, the four of us, we have a really great creative process right now. And I've always had a good process with the musicians I play with, but I guess, you know, especially in the early days when we weren't making money, everybody was just, you know, I mean, not that we ain't crushing it now, but we're at least scraping out a living as musicians, right? But I was just so honored that musicians would want to play with me, and I wanted them to have input into the process, but sometimes that came at the expense of the song, I feel like, and it took me a while to learn how to navigate that. That was a really hard thing for me. Oftentimes though, Juan, I will write a song, and as I'm writing a song, the song itself will take a turn based on me envisioning something that I just know, right? Like, oh man, you know, Poche is really going to connect to this section. Oh man, I can just hear what Karina, I don't know what she's going to do, but I can just hear what Karina is going to do in this section, and it's going to be awesome. I need to maybe put less words in this section so there's more room for the fiddle to dance around the voice, right? And of course, you know, the way Alex grooves on the kit influences so much. Sometimes I rarely these days am writing a song without kind of picturing an Alex groove behind it, and that is what is giving the song its heartbeat. So, really good question. Everybody that I play with influences my writing and the arranging and the performance, and that's the way that I've always wanted this band. I wanted this band to be about that. Okay. I am on to Instagram. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. How can one person have so many stories to tell? Whoa. It's cutting off the... Oh gosh. Hold on, I can't see the whole thing on this. Huh. Sorry. Sorry, y'all. I have to sit through this. How can one person have so many stories to tell? Were you called an old soul when you were a child? D White 104, thank you for saying that. I actually do not think that I have a particularly lot of stories to tell. I think that I spend my life thinking about connecting through my storytelling. I don't think that I have lived an exceptional life. I mean, I love the life that I lived, and I love what I'm doing. But that story that I told about Abby and Shiny One, that's a story we've all experienced. And but one of the things I love, one of the things I'm really proud of, is that when I decided to be a musician, it wasn't that playing music was going to be my job. That was not the decision for me. It was that everything that I experienced from that day on would be music, would be about music and connection through music. Everybody's heart beating would be a drum beat, right? Everybody's soul would tell a story, and that my life's work would be to tell those stories through music, or to connect at the experience through the experience that is universally human, right? Through the art that I make. That's the mission. And so I actually don't think I necessarily have a lot of stories. I think I'm comfortable hearing myself talk. Okay, next question. All right. How old were you when you wrote your first song? Asks Cindy. I was 16 years old when I wrote my first song. The song is called Iron, and I've actually played it for y'all at a gathering before, maybe a couple times. Maybe it'll happen again if it gets requested on one of our request nights. Doug wants to know, looking back, do you see distinct phases in Adam Ezra Group's sound / songwriting, or is it always sort of a constant organic evolution? And I'll see you, Doug, in St. Johnsbury, Vermont this summer. All right, I like that. Well, I think it's kind of both. I think that there is a constant evolution and progression. At least that's the goal, right? For me as a songwriter and as a performer, and for us as a band. But there have been definite within that progression, right? I remember when I was playing sports and I was training for sports, I'd have to lift weights, right? And there were times when I would be lifting and working out where I would make progress. My progress curve would go like this, and there were times when it would really plateau and flatten out, and I wouldn't make a lot of, times every time I would bench press, I'd be able to add on a few more pounds and a few more pounds, and then there would be stretches where I couldn't get any more weight on that bar. I couldn't do it, and I'd have to wait for, and I would keep working at it, and I'd keep working at it. And I think that there have been times of kind of rapid growth and times of plateau for me as a songwriter, for us as a band. I think for us as a band, a lot of that has been dictated by the personnel in the Adam Ezra Group. Some of you who have lived through different chapters of the Adam Ezra Group. And man, there were great aspects of our sound in each chapter. I really think, especially, and it's one of the things that I love, because I've always wanted our sound to be shaped by the musicians that we play with, right? I think songwriting, as I started playing with the band, my songwriting changed a little bit. Those first songs I was writing those first couple of years, Shiny One included, are different, I think. They feel different to me than the songs I started writing, and they feel very, very different than the songs that I'm writing now. And not necessarily for better or for worse, just different. How about one more question? One more question tonight, all right? Let's see. Why isn't the trash can lid for Scandal used anymore? Asks Tammy. Well, it's actually not a conscious decision. We've actually, the trash can lids are in a box that, for one reason or another, has not come out of the trailer in the marina yet this year, and so they don't have trash can lids to place. They have to improvise on other things. Fear not, Tammy. The trash can lids will come out again. What is the name of the song you referred to as Pig? Asks Jamie. That is a song called "Let's Get Out of This Town." Debbie wants to know, I have noticed on some of your earlier recordings that your voice is not as gravelly. Is that something that the recording studio does to fine-tune it? Question mark. Just so you know, I love your voice live. Thank you, Debbie. No, my voice has, like many other parts of me, has changed dramatically over the years, and mostly, honestly, because of damage. The gravel is damage to my voice. The first 10 years of my career, I would be singing. 15 years of my career, I mean, played a lot of bars, all night long in bars where I couldn't really hear myself, and so I'd be so hoarse by the end of the night, and it would just get gravelly. That's damage. So if you go back to the very early recordings, right, self-titled album Ezra, under Adam Ezra in Spotify, right, it is. I mean, the band always loves to make fun of my voice. 'Cause I sound like this? I really do. I hadn't damaged my voice yet. And, of course, as we age, that was 20 years ago, as we age, our voices change a little bit. I've been hanging with Riley a lot, so I've been listening to a lot of Taylor Swift, right? And, she just re-recorded one of her early albums. She re-recorded it 10 years later, and her voice sounds different. It sounds a little richer. I generally like the way my voice has changed over the years, even if it's due to the damage. I'm sure whiskey didn't help either. Should we sing one last song? This is really fun. Thanks for hanging with me. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to the wind at our backs. May it always blow steady wherever you roam. May it turn when you're ready to carry you home. May it keep you ahead of the rain. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to the heavens above. Some say it's a glimpse of God's great design. Some say it's the science of all things combined. May we look up and always feel wonder. Here is to us all that we see. To our hearts and the air that we breathe. Here's to around good company. Here's to the drink that we share. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to this time that we have. moments pass lightly and they won't come again. May our lives all burn brightly right up to the end. May we live them with joyous abandon. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to the end of the day. Let us drink to the work when the working is through. Let us drink one of me. Let us drink one of you. Let us drink one to those who are with us. Here is to us and all that we see. Here's to our hearts and the air that we breathe. Here's to around in good company. Here's to the future. Here's to the past. Let us drink one down slow. Let us drink one down fast. Let us drink one as if this night is our last. Here's to the drink that we share. Oh, here's to the drink that we share. Thanks for hanging with me, gatherers. This was an interesting night, huh? Maybe I'll take a question I'll look through. I know I didn't get to all of them, right? But maybe I'll take a question or two and or three, and I'll add them to our leftovers on our leftovers night. Maybe I'll do that. I like answering your questions. A lot of stuff happening this week, by the way. Wednesday we are releasing the Switching to Whiskey official music video. I cannot wait for you all to see it. We are very close to 200,000 streams on Spotify. We have some shirts to give away from some amazing Adam Ezra Group sad playlists. We are beginning to receive a bunch of one small act videos from you all. I appreciate that so much. That's so cool. Lots to do. We're announcing 3 shows at our favorite little speakeasy called Marge's in Rochester. I believe tickets are going to go live on Wednesday, and we have a new page going up talking about those 3 days on the beach. 3 no repeat days for me and the bandies. I'm pretty excited about that. Lots of good stuff. And back on the road with my band again this weekend. It's a good week. It's a good week. I hope y'all are doing okay out there, wherever you are. Please stay safe. Keep on looking out for one another. And I'll see you tomorrow.